Okay, so look, this is apparently meant to make fun of Americans and Trump's like tariff policies, which is already insane since they're like kind of showing the terrible conditions that Chinese people and also people in other countries that our corporations exploit for cheap labor are working under. That's happening now in some countries that we do trade with. So let me just put that out there. The other thing that really stood out to me though, Cenk, is that it was a post on TikTok. It's an AI generated video. Then someone posted it on X. And all of these like self-described progressives and liberals are sharing it and like looking down their noses at it like it's funny. Like, why is that funny?
Honestly, I don't get the whole thing. That's why we did a poll in the live chat. What are your thoughts on this video? Love it, hate it, confused by it, which I think I'm gonna vote on, or neutral, right? And so I guess what they're saying is if Trump's tariff policy were to work anyway, what we would do these menial jobs, where Americans aren't gonna do these menial jobs, so who cares? But why? That's not a great own of Trump. That's kind. Remember, progressives, Bernie Sanders, et cetera, were in favor of tariffs. Not crazy tariffs like Trump, not these mega nuclear tariffs, but tariffs to protect some parts of the manufacturing industry. Why are we making fun of American manufacturing by making it seem like we'd be Chinese workers
that we would be working in sweatshops? Yeah, first of all, so you're okay with the sweatshops, like us exploiting the sweatshops in other countries? We're okay with that as long as it's not Americans? First of all, no one should be working in sweatshops, period. And by the way, we actually used to have unionized textile and garment workers here in the United States. And guess what? They took a lot of pride in the work they did because this is actually skilled labor. If you're under the assumption that someone who's a seamstress, someone who sews clothing for a living is not a skilled worker, you are mistaken. Yes, I understand that they now have sewing machines that are literally automatic, they're computerized and automatic, but nonetheless, there is actually a lot of skill that goes into it. And I want to remind you all, again, well-paying unionized jobs back in the day in America. So like, are they under the assumption that with labor laws that we have here, if those jobs came back to the United States, Americans would be working in sweatshops?
How is that an own of Trump? Like, I don't, so if you said his tariffs are maniacal, you're correct. Like, hey, that's gonna lead to higher prices, you're correct. If you're saying we shouldn't protect jobs here in America, you're not correct. B, that is definitely not a progressive position. And it feels a tiny bit like when Republicans make fun of AOC for earlier being a bartender. Like, oh yeah, why don't you go back to being a bartender? Yeah, so what? I'm proud that she was a bartender.
Same.
And so I just don't get it, and I don't think it's funny, and I'm not sure what the big own is.
I just want, please, for once, I just want progressives online and Democrats in general to not take the bait, right? So if Trump does something like make an argument, a hollow argument, because I don't believe him for a second, that he wants to implement tariffs to bring manufacturing jobs back to the United States, that doesn't mean you need to automatically be against manufacturing jobs or manufacturing workers.
Yeah,
think about that. Think about the optics of that. Sorry.
And that's not even progressive so much as is general Democrats. Like, we have to be opposed to, MSNBC told me I have to be opposed to everything Trump does. No, you could be opposed to those maniacal tariffs without being opposed to manufacturing jobs. So please, guys, let's use our judgment here and let's be principled and remember what our principles actually are. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.